Alrighty guys, it is Qaaman here today, and I'm bringing you another Dragon Ball Super segment discussing my thoughts on what I think is going to happen in Episode 7 of Dragon Ball Super. And for those of you who caught my Episode 6 review, you guys would know that I actually have my YouTube plaque finally. They actually put the Qaaman's Land. I made sure that they actually put the apostrophe in the name. So in this video, we're going to talk about several things that I think is going to happen, ranging from the plot and everything else related to the upcoming episode. So without wasting any more time, let's get straight into this video. So the first thing to talk about is both the plot and the action. Now the first thing is in terms of my predictions for the plot, I don't expect the Pilaf gang to have any involvement, because if they were to have an involvement, it should have already happened. They did absolutely nothing on the ship, and even though I didn't expect the Pilaf gang to be a big part of the show as a whole, obviously it would have been nice to see them actually try to go get the Dragon Balls instead of just sitting around the ship and doing nothing, which leads me into believing that episode 4 was a complete waste of time. But in terms of the actual episode itself, considering the fact that we saw in the previews that the rest of the Z Fighters are going to fight Beerus, we saw Piccolo charging him, we saw Fat Buu fighting him, which obviously shows that, you know, Fat Buu's obviously not going to be killed, and Gotenks. This leads me to believe that those characters are going to be the bulk of the action in conjunction with Vegeta, because he's obviously going to be a big part, considering the fact that he said, "Don't you dare touch my Bulma." And this leads me into concluding that Piccolo will definitely have a much better fight instead of being wiped out by Chopsticks, because some people from a Dragon Ball Nation and a Comic Corner like to tease me all the time about this, guys. So yes, Piccolo is going to do a much better job. Now, in terms of Vegeta specifically, I've been asked a lot, do I think Vegeta's going to turn into a Super Saiyan 3 in this episode? And I have two thoughts about this. Number one, I think that it's possible. I can't rule out the possibility of Vegeta turning Super Saiyan 3, and quite honestly, I would like it for him to turn Super Saiyan 3, because I'm just kind of sick about this whole thing about why can't Vegeta turn Super Saiyan 3. It's actually one of my older videos. So let's talk about the ship. Now, in terms of the ship sinking, I've had a prediction from the very beginning that I think that the ship is going to sink for several reasons. If you look at a lot of stories, a lot of times a writer would put you in a certain situation that if a travesty happened or any type of adversity, you have to worry about multiple factors. And if you look at the Capsule Corporation where Beerus fought Goku in Battle of Gods, that was a scenario where Beerus and Goku could just fly around the planet and the Capsule Corp wasn't necessary. But because it's on a ship, that adds two factors. Number one, if something bad happens to the ship, they could, you know, the ship could obviously sink, and that's going to create a lot of adversity and a lot of conflict for the characters in the show. And although it might not happen in this episode, I have a serious suspicion that at some point, because of the fact that Beerus is going to fight the rest of them and it's going to be a huge fight, I have a serious suspicion that at some point that ship is going to go under, because why else would you put it on a ship? You put it on a ship so that you have to worry about the ocean. That's my ultimate prediction, and I want to hear what you guys have to say in the comment section below. As part of my final prediction of this video today, I was asked by Mr. Twizzle74 as to what I think will happen in terms of how the Z Fighters will perform against Beerus as opposed to Dragon Ball Super when you compare it to obviously Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods. And quite honestly, considering the fact that, you know, Super's an episode, whereas Battle of Gods was a movie, and I've always said before that you can't use movies to scale all the time, because you got to look at a movie in terms of its pacing, and in terms of pacing, a movie has to go much faster. So with that said, you can make the argument that the Z Fighters are probably going to last longer against Beerus, but I still think it's going to be pretty clear that with the exception of Piccolo, all of the Z Fighters are going to pretty much get wiped out. Maybe Vegeta's going to hold his own if he could possibly go Super Saiyan 3, and once, you know, he says, "Don't you dare touch my Bulma." But I think that Vegeta and Piccolo are going to be the only characters that hold their own against Beerus. Piccolo's obviously going to do the best job, and he's going to knock out with Beerus with Chopstick, and there's going to be no need for Super Saiyan God Goku to come and help them at the end, because Piccolo's going to get the job done by himself, because he is a Super Namek. And I hope you guys like that. So those are my overall predictions on how I think the fight's going to go as a whole. So guys, that has been my video for today. Overall, I think this episode is going to have a lot of action. We've never really seen all the other Z fighters fighting at once in Dragon Ball Super the way we've seen in other, obviously movies and other episodes. So I really look forward to seeing a group fight. I really look forward to seeing Piccolo kick Beerus's purple pussycat ass. And I also expect to see, Vegeta obviously getting some good blows. And I expect it to be a very entertaining episode, although we know at the end that Piccolo's ultimately going to defeat Beerus, and there's going to be no need for Goku to come because Piccolo's a Super Namek. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and my final question for you guys is, can you guys please tell me in the comment section below, why is it that I get more views on my predictions than my reviews? Apparently, based off of the views, I average about 7,000 more views on my predictions, and that's showing me that you guys care more about what I think is going to happen as opposed to what I thought happened. So those are my overall thoughts for today, guys, and I really like to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. So most importantly, over everything else, please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe, and remember, as I always say, to have a great day, guys.